Hey guys, this is LoudsCast with TGN.TV, and today guys, I'm going to bring you a roundup and a bit of an overview of what has been going on at BlizzCon Day 1. Basically, I've split this show into three parts. I'll be covering the general changes, then the PvE changes, then the PvP changes. Okay, it should come as no surprise to you that Mr. Pandaria has been officially announced as the next World of Warcraft expansion. So yeah, we're going to see lots of rather large pandas running around and all that kind of good stuff. Now, what will happen there is you will create a Pandarian, and at level 10 you will either choose Alliance or Horde as your faction. So they're going to start off as a neutral faction. And one of the other things to note is there will be a new hero class, which will be the Pandarian Monk. Now, basically, that will be a DPS, tank, or healing class. Now, I keep looking down because I am checking my notes that I was writing during BlizzCon itself as well. Okay, this is quite interesting. There will now be vanity pet battles. So yeah, all those pets which you just sort of collect, you might be a collector, you may just get the odd one occasionally and that sort of thing. Well, they're now going to have a range of abilities to use against other pets. Wow, I'm on, gotta catch 'em all. Yeah, pretty much. I was actually thinking about this and I was amazed that they were able to keep a straight face on the panel while they were discussing this. However, it is going to give you something to do to kill the time between dungeon queues rather than just sat there sort of twiddling your thumbs. Okay, right, so I'm going to go into PvE now. Now, this is a change for patch 4.3, which was announced at BlizzCon yesterday. Raid Finder. Okay, there is going to be a lower tier of raiding. Finally, this is something a lot of people have wanted, and essentially will make raid poggable, so you'll get less reward. You won't get like the same item level as guilds doing a raid run. However, you will be able to pug a raid, have the experience of raiding, and then you will be able to get some loot from it. And it's really good, I think, because it gives people that don't have the time or commitment to be in a guild. It gives them something to do, because Blizzard really puts a lot of effort into all the raid content and wants as many people to see it as possible. Okay, questing in dungeons will include dungeons which won't have traditional tank, DPS, and healer roles. That's right, guys. This is planned to reduce queue times and all that kind of thing, so you could go into a dungeon with like 4 DPS or whatever, and they're saying there's going to be a lot more group quests. They want it to feel much more like a multiplayer experience, so there'll be a lot more group quests involved for people to do and all that kind of thing, which is good. Dungeons which won't necessarily require tanks and healers, which is awesome. The other thing they have mentioned is PvE battlegrounds. So yeah, you and a group of friends could go and fight waves of monsters. They even mentioned the possibility of even having tower defense scenarios and that sort of thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, new talent system now. I know people are covering this on TGN WoW at the minute, so I won't get too much into it. But essentially, every 15 levels, you now get one talent point, which is the choice of a key ability. Now, there will be new abilities added for level 90 that you can take in this system. They were a little unclear as to whether they were going to scrap the talent and spec system they've got entirely at the minute and implement this as the new system, or this is going to be something additional. We will see in the future how that goes. Okay, now this is a big one. Ranged and relic slots are going to be removed from the game completely. There'll be no more relics or ranged weapon slots for hunters. Now, bear with me on that one. Now, the relics being removed, it's just, I see a relic as, yeah, I've got a relic. I don't really care. I buy almost 700 Valor points or whatever it is. That's pretty much it, and that's the reason why it's being removed. There's no real sort of use for it. Now, hunters, two interesting changes here, which are pretty big. Hunters will no longer have a minimum range, so minimum range gone, and the range slot will effectively become their main hand slots. The bow or gun will become their main hand, and they will have no use for a melee weapon whatsoever. So that means they're going to up the stats on bows and guns and that sort of thing. And like I said, relic and range slots are completely and utterly gone. Okay, turning over to page 2 of my notes now. Okay, heroics will now start at level 90. There'll be no sort of level 90 dungeons to do or anything like that. It's just a case of you hit level 90, you go straight into heroics, which is awesome because you don't want to grind those 2 dungeons that you get at like level 85 at the minute for your gear and then go into heroic. It'll just be bang, straight into heroic mode. Another thing that they did mention is dungeon challenges. This is going to be for more on the heroic side of things, I do believe, where essentially you will do time trials or time runs of a dungeon with a group of friends in your guild or as a pug, and you may get additional rewards for this, but it's more to compare your sort of time to your friends in your guild and that sort of thing, and there will also be a ranking system for that as well. This is good. This is something I like to hear. They said that Heroic Deadmines and Shadowfang Keep was something which a lot of people enjoyed. So there are plans to make Heroic Scholomance and Scarlet Monastery as well are planned in the future in the expansion. Okay, moving on to PvP now. They've got new plans for Battlegrounds, not your traditional sort of capture the flag, that sort of thing, but one of the most interesting ones they talked about was Murder Ball. Essentially, both teams would start off, there'd be a ball in the centre, one player would pick it up, take damage and score points the longer he held onto it, but if he went and hid in the corner, he would get less points for it because that makes sense, whereas if he stood in the middle, where everyone was fighting, he'd get more points, but would be taking damage and possibly a debuff as well. Big change here, guys. Resilience will now be a base stat. You will start off with Resilience from level 10, I think it is, and this is basically because of the way that you can so easily get PvP gear now at high-end level. If you're just stepping into Battlegrounds at level 85 with very little PvP gear, it's very difficult, and you're going to get them just because you don't have the Resilience. So your Resilience is going to go up per level like Strength, Stamina, any other stat, and it's to allow people to experience PvP and to allow them to feel it a bit fairer. It won't be like a massive stat or anything like that, it will only be a little bit, but it's going to benefit both players stepping into Battlegrounds for the first time, and players also who have already got Resilience will also have this stat added as well. Okay, a new arena is planned as well. Basically, new arena will... I had a look at the image for this. It's basically got 4 large statues around a room, and essentially it looks really good for LOS, that sort of thing. They said they're very finicky about adding new arenas and stuff because it is so difficult, but that is planned as well. Okay, that's it, guys, pretty much from me for the Day 1 roundup of BlizzCon. I do apologise that this has gone out a day late because I ended up really busy last night. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Any questions, please post me a comment and I'll try to get back to you. If you like this video, please thumb it up. I do apologise again for the lack of visuals and all that kind of thing. It's been quite hastily put together. This has been LoudsCast with TGN. If you're not already, please subscribe to TGN World of Warcraft and check out my personal channel as well for the weekly vlog update. I'll see you next time. Bye.